Yeah, it does.
So who lives in this house?
The Chief Factor. So this is the Chief Factors House. There are actually two families. So at this time, John McLoughlin and his family, his wife Marguerite would have been on this side, and the other side has been set up as the James Douglas, which is who I'm portraying tonight.
McLaughlin's over in Oregon City.
Yes.
He's over in Oregon City at the
visiting.
moment. He's going to retire
A couple of years.
in about a year.
1840.
Is there a reason why he is trying to retire? Or
He's going to be kind of forced out of the company. He's had kind of an altercation with George Simpson, who is perhaps the most powerful man in
Gentlemen, if you
Canada.
excuse me, this conversation is a little bit indelicate for me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
If you were stationed here, was this a prestige opportunity, or was this kind of like,
So this was at the ends of the known world.
right?
There was
so this
probably
started out
more
like it
known
used to be.
about China at this time than there was about the Northwest.
Really?
So early on when this was established, there was a merger of two companies, the Northwest Company and the Hudson Bay Company. And a lot of the Northwest Company guys got stuck out here so they wouldn't cause trouble for the company. Like McLoughlin and Peter Skeen, Ogden. Through time this became extremely profitable though. So, and many of the gentlemen really stayed. I mean, Douglas went up to Victoria to become the first governor of British Columbia. And then McLoughlin, of course, stayed here. Ogden stayed here. Bunch of people.
Ermatinger
Ermatinger,
got into
yeah.
politics.
Yeah. So the potential for economic improvement made it totally worthwhile to stay, particularly if you were a gentleman and had money. So, but,
And they had good business credentials. They made money. They knew how to make money, how the world worked.
yeah. Lots of connections. So.
So they said that this enactment was during the fire that happened?
1844,
So
yes.
was anything affected with this main building?
Not this
No,
building.
they didn't. They didn't
Well,
get to
the gardens caught fire, and then
Yeah.
a couple of houses nearby caught fire.
Yeah, the fort itself did not burn. It got to the other side of the road, which Fifth Street is what we call it now, but it was Upper Mill Road, and it would go all the way, basically following roughly Mill Plain all the way out to the east. And then it burned the orchard, which is just outside the fort.
I thought the dairy caught fire too, didn't it? Some of the dairy buildings?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know the barns across the way burned, but
Right.
the village didn't burn and the fort didn't burn. Like, it came really
By a
close.
miracle, it came in within 300 feet.
Yeah.
It was, something like that. Came close.
Yeah.
But they prepared for it. They dug ditches and trenches, plowed the ground up, and put a fire break in there.
Oh, okay. So what were your leisure activities when you weren't working in?
Well, smoking, tobacco, playing, whist, horse
Talking,
racing,
Talking.
talking, horse
conversation.
racing, reading. There's the whole library of books. There were magazines that they'd bring out from London, usually only about 3 months old. Newspapers.
Fairly fresh.
Yeah, so the news was so delayed that major decisions were made back in England or on the east coast of the U.S., and it would take a long time to get out here.
But they did communicate. They wrote a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of letters written, especially from the chief factors
Yeah,
and the clerks.
yeah.
How was the mail transported or delivered?
Canoe.
Canoe?
So
like
the
how many
fastest,
months would it take to
believe
get
it or not, the fastest route was from here by canoe, portaging over the Rocky Mountains and all the way to York Factory on the Hudson's Bay. And they could do that in about, I don't know, a month and a half, something like that, if they're really cranky.
What did Simpson do it in?
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas from sailing ship, you would leave here and you would go to Hawaii, usually the Sandwich Isles, and then you go around the tip of South America and back up. Or you could go the other way, but neither way was fast. So they would leave in September from London. They would get to the tip of South America by wintertime when it was nicest down there. And then they'd come up to Hawaii and then back
They
over.
follow the trade wind.
Yeah.
I should probably know this, but the Indians were trading, but was there any altercations during, was it dangerous to be
No,
stationed here?
there were a few altercations early on, but for most part, the Indians and the fur traders got along. In fact, there were many marriages between fur traders and Indian families. And so there's really close connections between, people that are enrolled in tribes and the Hudson's Bay Company. But there were a few times when, like, McLoughlin sent down a group of people to attack a village that had looted one of the vessels that had wrecked on the mouth of the Columbia. And so, it's uneven. And of course,
You had the Whitman massacre.
you had the Whitman massacre, but that was really more tied to the American colonial period.
And Douglas, I think, was involved in helping to rescue
Yeah.
them from a ransom situation.
In fact, for the fire, they actually enlisted the men from Keesno, the local Chinook chieftain. His men helped them to keep the fire at bay from getting to that dairy area.
And I'm curious, how did you brew your own beer, or where did you guys get the liquor to drink? Where'd
We
that come from?
imported some of the ale, because we get bottles that say India Pale Ale here. They probably brewed some of it. They imported rum, they imported wine. In the cellar of the Chief Factors House, the archaeologists right below us found Chateau Margaux.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was good stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Chief Factors House.
All right, thank you so much.
You gentlemen are,
James Douglas.
I'm Donald Miller.
your job was?
Harvey.
Harvey. I was gonna say, he's
Donald
a Miller.
Harvey, Miller, and farmer. It's Miller time.
Okay. You mentioned something that you sold to the Americans, you sold to the British, you sold to the Russians?
Uh-huh.
Sure. Good trade with the Russians.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of the reasons for staying out here once this became Hudson's Bay Company was the Russians needed food. They had a post at Fort Ross in Northern California, but it was very expensive for them, and the Hudson's Bay Company went into a contract to supply them with wheat and other foodstuffs. And so they selected this site for Fort Vancouver because of the arable land.